I have sat with this question for a long time, not with hostility but with honesty. And after years of watching the world, reading its headlines, walking its streets, and witnessing the lives of people around me, I have arrived at a conclusion I can no longer politely sidestep. I do not believe in God. This is not a declaration made in anger. It is made in grief, in logic, and above all in sincerity. Nearly a century ago, the philosopher Bertrand Russell stood before the National Secular Society and delivered a lecture that would become a celebrated critique. Russell argued that the traditional proofs of God's existence, the first cause, natural law, the argument from design, collapse under even mild logical scrutiny. He asked famously that if everything must have a cause, then what caused God? Russell's conclusion was clear. Belief in God is not driven by reason, but by fear and by the conditioning of childhood. Look around. Some people are born into warmth, into families with resources, safety, health, and opportunity. Others enter this world into hunger, disease, conflict, and neglect. They did not choose this. They did nothing to deserve it. If a God exists, one who is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-loving, how does one explain this staggering inequality? A child born in a war zone made no moral error, yet they bear consequences for conditions entirely outside their control. We are told that God is just, yet justice in this world is profoundly selective. Criminals walk free, corrupt leaders die peacefully. Meanwhile, innocent people are imprisoned or destroyed. A God who watches injustice and does nothing is either powerless or indifferent. I am not sure which is more troubling. Russell put it plainly. The universe we observe, with its vast indifference to human suffering, does not look like the work of a God. When confronted with this suffering, some reach for the answer of karma, of past lives and cosmic debts. If God controls all things, then who made them do that wrong thing in the first place? Why help the poor if they are simply working off a karmic bill? This theology provides a spiritual justification for indifference. Then there is this. We are told to pray, to praise, to worship, to bow, so that God will hear us. An omniscient, infinite being requires human flattery in order to act favorably toward his own creation. A God who will only help you if you sing his praises is a God whose goodness is conditional. That is vanity. Perhaps the most prevalent answer to suffering is this: be patient. Your reward is coming, not in this life, but in the next. If God's response to a lifetime of suffering is to offer a better experience afterward, then he has not solved the problem, he has deferred it. The suffering was still real. The innocent person still bled, still wept, still lost years they will never recover. No amount of future reward erases present pain, especially when that pain was entirely preventable. I do not write this to attack faith. Religion has given people community, purpose, and solace. But I cannot, in good conscience, hold on to a belief that requires me to rationalize injustice or wait for a divine accounting. Russell ended his lecture with a call to look inward rather than upward, to place our hope in human effort and compassion. I believe that justice is something we must build ourselves, because it will not be handed down from above. I have only seen evidence that a moral force lives, imperfectly and stubbornly, in us, and that for now is enough to work with.